Hi everyone, I'm Armin Budish and I'd like to welcome you to another installment of Conversations with the County. Today I'm talking with Mike Foley, our Director of Sustainability. Mike's been working with a number of partners to craft a climate action plan. Now we know that climate change is real and it's local. Climate change is changing our world in ways we just can't ignore. And here in the county we're already seeing local impacts. Our average annual temperature has increased. We're going to see summers with more dangerously high heat days with temperatures over 95 degrees, and just as bad, we'll see more nights where temperatures never dip below 70 degrees, which deprives our bodies of the chance to cool down. We're averaging more precipitation per year, and it's coming in more frequent and more violent storms. According to the Midwest Regional Climate Center, we're seeing on average at least 2 more violent storms a year. And it's our most vulnerable residents, children, elderly, low income, people without a vehicle, and people with a disability. These are the most likely to suffer from climate change. So I asked Mike to put together a climate action plan that defines the role that the county can have in helping both solve the problem and become more resilient to the coming changes. So Mike, tell us how you put this thing together.
Well, thanks for having me in, Armin. One of the things that you bugged me about, to be honest with you, when we first started off was that President Trump got out of the Paris Climate Accords. And when that happened, you called me up, I remember, on a Saturday, said, Mike, we got to do something about this. So we did a couple things. One is we decided that we would join with a whole bunch of other communities across the country to stay in, basically, to say that we think climate change is real and it's going to have consequences and that we should react to it, right? So we signed on to the Mayor's Climate Compact, which is now the Global Compact of Mayors Compact. And through that, there's a couple of strategies. One is to think about how do you as a community reduce your greenhouse gas emissions that go up into the atmosphere. And the other is climate change is going to happen, right? So things are going to happen to your community. How are you going to react to that? How are you going to adapt to that? So we've put together kind of in that framework kind of how do we mitigate our emissions and also adapt as climate change occurs.
So in putting together the plan that you did, which is really exciting, you did it with a whole lot of other teammates, a whole lot of collaborative organizations. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Here's the thing. There's a lot of smart people in this community who care about this stuff and who work on it on a day-to-day basis, a little bit in silos, a little bit in kind of specialty areas. And what we were able to do is pull together our county planning department, our county health department, our emergency service department. We worked with the City of Cleveland's Department of Sustainability. There's a whole bunch of nonprofits and other local government entities in the county who think about this on kind of different aspects of the problem. So we've convened meetings, we've done a series of work groups, we've had, kind of thought about energy and health related stuff, land use, and, kind of different aspects of climate change, and brought people together to start thinking about, all right, what are the problems and what are the solutions?
Right, so the plan that you put together with all these other folks has a bunch of parts to it. And one of the key parts is trees. Trees. So tell us about how trees are going to make a difference in what we're going to do there.
Yeah, so one of the things you think about, climate change is a very complex, problem, and you may need, technical solutions. But ironically, one of the great sources of kind of solutions is this low-tech tree solution, right? So planting trees is really important. It helps reduce high heat island effect. It helps clean up the air. When you've got high heat days, basically it helps cool off, especially low-income communities where people may not have air conditioning. It's better for public health, right? And so trees, this low tech, kind of thing that you can't, get on a computer and just create, right? Something you got to plant and spend some time on, and people have to maintain, are a real important solution to adapting to climate change as it occurs.
So trees, they clean the air, they keep water from running off into overflowing sewers into the lake, and they keep things cool, and so they do a lot of different things. I mentioned, though, that the people who suffer the most are low-income people, people with disabilities. we have to make sure then that the trees are in the right places.
So our county planning department has put together this vulnerability map, basically, and they've overlaid it with a tree canopy assessment. In fact, they're redoing the tree canopy assessment even as we speak. And so that will tell us in the county where there is a real need for trees. And it has, as it happens, a lot of that is in the city of Cleveland and the first ring suburbs. City of Cleveland, since the 1950s, has lost almost half of its tree canopy.
Wow.
So we've got a real need to put more trees in to do the things that you talked about, which is cleaning the air, helping cool down neighborhoods, and reacting to the kind of just mental health problems. Trees, there's this funny thing, and I'm embarrassed to say it, tree bathing is a real thing, right? So it's silly, but it does help with people's mental health. There's seen a lot of being in the midst of nature.
All right, so when we talk about climate change, we also have to talk about the emissions that come from vehicles, cars. And that's where I think most of the emissions come from. And to help alleviate that, we have bike paths, we have walking paths that are scattered all through the county. What can we do to make it better?
So we've, the county planning department, again, has put together a greenways plan that is looking at really expanding and connecting bike paths, pedestrian paths, nature trails that currently exist in the county. You're right, they're all fragmented, right? So the county, incidentally, has a bunch of roads that we have, we maintain, that we organize, right? And so we're looking at, we've overlaid the greenway plan with county roads and said, hey, can we figure out a way to use our properties, right, our county facilities, to expand the greenway plan, and we've started doing that already. So in Dunham Road and Maple Heights, going down into the metro parks, we're going to be expanding that road to include buffered bike lanes.
Right.
Monticello Drive in Cleveland Heights, in South Euclid,
yeah.
and Richmond Heights. Basically, we're going to be doing the same thing. So we're starting to pick off kind of pieces and pieces of the greenway plan, which is overlaying it with our county roads plan and figuring out where can we help out to make this thing real.
And it's okay that Mike doesn't know where Monticello is because he's a West Sider. All right. Let's talk for a minute about the Green Bank. What's a Green Bank?
It's look, one of the things is to clean up the grid, basically the energy grid, to put more solar panels on rooftops, to put more wind turbines, maybe potentially out on the lake, to become more energy efficient for businesses and homes. Is that that costs money, right? It's just to do a residential rooftop solar array may cost $12,000 to $15,000, right? And sometimes up front, right? So one of the things we want to think about is in states like New York and Connecticut and California have been very successful in creating these green banks where you've got money just set aside as a fund to help loan out or grant out dollars to help basically write down the cost or help lower the costs of clean energy technologies. That's really important, especially for a place like Ohio, where we're working with a group called the Coalition for Green Capital now, who set up these banks in these other states. They're excited because we're the first, basically, coal state where they've ever worked in. And we think working with the Cleveland Foundation, the Gunn Foundation, and other organizations out there who have some potential dollars to put into a deep, well-funded fund, that we think that this will be very successful and really help us kind of turn the tide on in putting techniques and technologies available for people and businesses to use.
And this doesn't have to be grants. This is loans. These are investments. These are to help people pay that upfront cost in some cases.
A lot of it will be that, right?
So that then they can have the savings going forward and pay back out of the savings.
Yeah, and also potentially just help even create new products. So one of the things we've got with solar in this is that you have to buy it up front, right? So maybe there's a way that a business could come into town and do, instead of just selling panels to individual homeowners who can't come up with that $15,000 or $20,000 right up front, that you do a power purchase agreement model where someone else owns the panels and what they get is a guaranteed customer for you if they put the panels on your home and an opportunity to buy those panels out over time. So I think there's different products out there that aren't available to the county or county residents that this Green Bank will help put together.
So you've been a big advocate for solar, which in Cleveland, I think some people say, really? You're going to do solar in Cleveland, in Cuyahoga County? It's cloudy all the time. Do we really have a way to do solar?
Yeah, we do. So we've got the, Germany basically has the same kind of footprint in terms of sun as Alaska does, and they get 25 to 30% of their electricity is now coming from solar, right?
Wow.
In fact, they've been leading the world in really terms of ramping up the ability for people to buy into solar and put it into use. So we've got more sun than they do, right? And we think
It's
that
just hidden.
sometimes it's hidden, right? But I've got solar panels in my home, and I got to tell you, March was a great month for solar. April was a great month for solar. So it works, and it covers, on my home, it covers about 35% of our electricity bill, which is what they modeled. We did a solar project that you really pushed and helped get implemented out at the Brooklyn landfills. We've got the Brooklyn landfill solar project. It has been remarkable on how much they modeled it would create and how much it has created so far in terms of electricity for our county buildings. So the next big thing I'm really excited about is we've got 3 buildings that the county is going to do rooftop solar on. We've got the old RTA garage, which is our public works facility in Newburgh Heights. We've got the animal shelter and the medical examiner's building, where we're going to be doing rooftop solar. But the big, which is good, and we're going to be paying less than what we would be paying.
That'll save us money.
It'll save us money.
Like almost $1 million over the years.
Over the lifetime of the panels, it'll save us at least $900,000. So it's 25 years. But also, what I'm really excited about is that local governments can piggyback off this price we got, off this contract we have. So we're talking to local cities, other local governments, nonprofits who have flat roofs, who have good roofs, that they're paying 11 cents a kilowatt hour. They're going to working with our contract, they'll pay less than that right off the bat.
That's great.
And with clean energy.
Great. Mike, our climate action plan that Mike's described and put together, it's important for the future of our county, and I really appreciate all the work that Mike has done to produce it and now to make it happen. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me for another conversation with the county, and I'll see you next time.